Zach, welcome. It's fantastic to have you here and great to see you. Could you give a brief intro to yourself and your trading history before the mentorship?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me here as well. Yeah, I mean, my trading background started about 4 years ago. I was more of like a passive investor. I got into just the crypto space, dabbling in some basic, um, cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, um, and I never really took it seriously. But I started to become more interested in the space and started to see the performance a trader can have and I started to just kind of go down the rabbit hole of crypto Twitter and eventually stumbled across some communities, went down and followed some signal callers, and one thing led to another. I eventually lost all my money. It's usually how it goes. And um, yeah, I mean, I had some strings of wins in the crypto space. I got very lucky, but in the moment, I thought I was just a fantastic trader and that trading was easy. I was able to turn about $10,000 into about $100,000. And then greed started to kick in, and then I oversized and I blew the account. And I did that about two times before I really started to take trading seriously and got to the point where I understood that I had to actually go and learn the fundamentals of trading if I wanted to continue to pursue this.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that loss, but it's the entry fee to the market, which a lot of people have paid. And one positive way I like to look at it is if you hadn't lost it then, you would have lost a greater amount, a bigger amount that you'd made because of whatever habits led to that occurring. So, what was the specific reasons you ended up losing it? You said you over leveraged, but was it
Mhm.
continuous over leveraging? Was it one big event?
Yeah, it was both. Um, Once I had a large sum of capital, I felt that uh, if I bet bigger, I would get richer quicker, and that um, I started to just try to take the shortcut, and yeah, I started to oversize, and I blew my account, and then I went down a darker path of revenge trading. So now, after blowing all my money and trying to make it back just as fast, and so then I would use even more leverage, and it just becomes a slippery slope at that point, and yeah.
How long did that go on for?
It was on and off for about like I'd say 6 or so months. Um, there's you reach rock bottom at some point, and then you're like, okay, I need to step back. Trading can be very draining and taxing on the emotions, and but you always find a way to come back to it. So it was on and off for about 6 months.
What impact was that having on your life?
A pretty big impact. I mean, my relationships were a bit strained. I didn't want to reveal everything that was going on financially to my friends and family, so I kept it bottled in. But it was evident on my face and my attitude, and it just yeah poured into my external life in a big way.
And was it getting better? Was it headed in the right direction, or was it just kept getting worse and you eventually just stopped?
It, my trading,
Trading in general, the journey, emotionally, all of it.
yeah, I mean because poor habits were were there and good habits were never instilled. It just continued to um, just get worse, to be honest, or just stay the same. But it was already pretty bad. Um, there was never an improvement. I tried to go down YouTube University and try to educate myself further on, you know, um, how to actually analyze the market, and I stumbled across different influencers or names in the space. I came across you, which your content was very different from others, but um, because I lacked the proper habits, it didn't matter what tools I had in my toolbox. I was always somehow failing.
And what resources did you try before you found the mentorship? You mentioned signals groups earlier.
Yeah, I tried, I mean, everything really under the sun. I tried learning about every technical indicator, moving averages, Elliott wave theory, Wyckoff, um, basic price action, everything that you could think of. Um, and it still didn't really work out because I lacked the basic components of proper risk management, sizing, knowing when to exit a trade or enter a trade, and managing a trade in general. Yeah.
I also fell down the Elliott wave rabbit hole. That was my first. Oh, this makes sense. This sounds really clever. I think this will work out for me. Uh, okay, so now in all of this, how did you find out about the mentorship?
I found you on Twitter. I started following your content. I really just started to um, try to filter out the noise and look for quality content and content
Mm.
that was broken down to the core principles of trading. And you really started to teach about the probabilities of the game. Um, and it made a lot of sense. And you can kind of sniff out BS in the space. And it was evident that you had kind of walked the walk and been successful. So I really kind of gravitated more towards your content. And um, as I started to implement some of your teachings, the free value that you put out, it actually started to make a difference in my trading. Not the biggest yet, but I was starting to see improvements. And yeah, so that one thing led to another. I saw that you were marketing the mentorship and, booked a call and went from there.
So you were seeing progress from the free materials, not loads,
Mhm.
but it was happening at a decent pace. You
Mhm.
the right vibes were given off by other parts of content I put out. Were there still any doubts or fears before you signed up for the mentorship? What were they, and why did you say yes anyway?
Yeah, I don't believe there were doubts. Um, Going into the call with your team, I felt that I still needed to learn more about technical analysis. And now I was trying to take it to the next level of order flow and these advanced forms of technical analysis. And I didn't know what I didn't know, but speaking with your team, it wasn't that I had any fears. It was more I knew what I was looking for. I thought it was more advanced technical analysis and also one-on-one type of mentorship. I had spent too much time consuming knowledge and not enough time implementing it. And
Mm.
I needed that exposure in the market and somewhat of those guardrails to kind of help guide me and identify my specific bottlenecks. And that's essentially what I felt that was offered, and it made sense. Um, yeah, I mean, speaking with your team, I got answers to questions that I didn't even know I had. Um, yeah, and yeah,
What was a answer to a question you didn't even know you had?
well, that I didn't need order flow to be successful. That simple, yeah, um, less is more, and we tend to overcomplicate things. And um, yeah, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I just leave it at that. Less is more.
Yeah, yeah, we'll dive into details as well. But before that, how's your trading going now? You've been on the mentorship program for a while. Where's your trading at now?
It's it's night and day. Um, I feel like you guys have equipped me with the tools to, if I were to walk away right now, I could go build a profitable trading strategy, and I can be successful. And I have been successful. Um, and I think that specifically came down to how you guys structured the program. Um, it's different from others where most programs are usually some type of content and then maybe some community access. With your program, what really separated it was the controlled environments that you put the students in, specifically like the drills. And it's that experience in the market where you're allowing them to fail forward, um, but not, you know, so drastically where they want to quit trading and blow their accounts and such. But you give clear instructions on that allowed us to fail and gain exposure, and that's what happened for me. And I learned so much about trading, and I've been able to take all that knowledge and now um, kind of piece the bigger puzzle together. And I feel like my trading is is almost complete. I have a holistic approach. I have an understanding of how the markets work. I see it in a very different light now. Um, yeah, so I mean, it's night and day.
So you've mentioned, firstly, congratulations. You've made tremendous progress, and all the credit goes to you. We just helped point you in the right direction. You're the one that showed up, implemented, learned the lessons, put the focus in every single day. So amazing work. Now, you mentioned simplicity in technical analysis as one big change. You mentioned
Mhm.
being thrown into different controlled environments where you learned lessons.
Mhm.
These lessons, the simplicity, what things did you take away from your trading? What changes did you make to get to where you are now?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I cut out a lot of noise. I reduced a lot of the technical indicators. Um, um, I really my perspective has changed in that I look and think about the opposing market participants, and at the end of the day, the trading is a zero sum game. One person has to win, another has to lose, and that's how it works. Um, and knowing that, you want to be on the right side of the market, so you want to be actively thinking about the other market participants, and through the mentorship and the one-on-one mentors and the feedback that you get on a weekly basis, even on a daily basis, you get that active or that live data from someone who is a successful trader and actively in the market, and you get to compare your own analysis of the market to a successful trader, and you get to either try to mimic them and follow in their footsteps, or just analyze what you're doing wrong and kind of tweak some things. But um, yeah, my perspective has changed, and I'm able to view the market in a different light, but I've also reduced a lot of the noise. You don't need as much as you think you need to be successful in trading.
What are the key tools you use right now?
Basic support and resistance, volume, um, the tape, um, and yeah, that's about it.
No
Yeah,
Elliott Wave, Wyckoff, no
no,
order flow, and you're
no,
still profitable? How?
still profitable. I think Mark Douglas talks about this uh, in his book Train the Zone, that the trading in the capital markets is really like a canvas. There's not many restrictions, and that there's a million different ways that you can be successful. Not to say that you can't be successful with Elliott Wave or Wyckoff. There's a million different combinations of tools that you can use, um, but you don't need all of that. You just need the basics, and that's what most people miss is proper risk management, sizing, how to structure a trade, how to journal a trade, the basics that um, allow you to build a profitable strategy and stay consistent. And then you can pick and choose whatever tools you want to use, but you can really use as simple tools as you want or as complex tools, and there are a vast majority of traders that have been successful on both sides of the equation.
Couldn't have put it better myself. And our philosophy is only add complexity if it makes you more money. Otherwise, do it as simply as possible.
Right.
So, Zach, what impact has this now had on your life from where you were 6 months ago?
A drastic impact. Financially, a completely different situation. Um, I'm fortunate enough to have external businesses that allow me to not be dependent on trading. Although the biggest impact hasn't been financially, it's in my personal life. You really have to humble yourself when in the markets, or the market's going to humble you, and it really exposes your flaws. And you'll learn so much about yourself, um, whether you're impulsive or not. If you're an aggressive type of trader, you need to be truthful with yourself. And I've learned a great deal, and I've been able to grow as a person. And there's growth spews confidence, and it's not to mix confidence with arrogance, but there's another sense of confidence when you can go into the markets, be humbled, and come out alive and a profitable trader. And yeah, and the other part of it is now you have a skill set that can generate income, and the upside is pretty much, you know, endless.
And there's also a tremendous amount of confidence in just having a journal that tells you irrefutably your trades are EV plus. On average, if you take a trade, you are likely to make money. I don't find anything else, no mantra, no can give you as much confidence as a journal full of data. Congratulations on that, Zach. Now, what is your next focus? What's the next challenge for you in your trading?
That's a good question. The next challenge is just continuing to conquer myself. There's still, these emotions that will seep um, in different environments. Right now, we're in a bull market, and emotions are high. Learning to know when to be restrictive as a trader is is one of the most important lessons I think anyone can learn. Um, it's not hard to make money in the markets when you have the right skill sets. It's hard to keep the money once you make it. So that's my goal right now, is to just stay consistent, continue to scale my capital, um, and see how far I can kind of push it and push myself.
I feel I say this every single interview, but because it's the same for most students, getting that strategy profitable is not our biggest challenge. Our biggest challenge by far is long-term emotional consistency and sticking to that challenge. And I've interviewed traders who've been doing this 10 plus years, and that's still their number one focus, what they're trying to keep together. Zach, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your experience. Last question from me. What would you tell someone who's watching this right now and unsure whether or not they should take the next step?
Mm-hmm. I'd say if you're asking yourself, first, try to be aware and ask yourself, what is the next step for me as a trader? If this is something you truly want to pursue, and if you don't know the answer to that question, or it's difficult to answer it, then book a call with your team um, to gain some clarity. At least you walk away with some clarity on where you should go in your journey. Um, but you don't know what you don't know. And this program is not like any other program in the space, from what I know. And I've gone through a couple of programs. Um, it's evident that it's been structured and you've found a proven formula off the back of successful traders. And it's been optimized over time. Uh, so I'd say the ROI is there with the program, no doubt about it. Um, and if you're considering it, pull the trigger and just book a call and see if it's a fit for you.
Zach, thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Thank you. Take care, Krish.